Hello everybody, this is Baskar Ayer from Chennai. Most of you know me as a Tamil writer. Now, this is not about my writing. Today I am wearing a different hat. I am here in Kottakkal, Kerala. And I came here for Ayurvedic treatment for my wife PR Girija at Kottakkal Arya Vaidyasala Hospital. Something we have been planning for quite some time. And when I came here, just around the time I came here, I realized that I had my school junior, Rati Warrior, living here. She is a part of this warrior family of Kottakkal Arya Vijayasala. So I got an opportunity to, meet her, and also because I renewed this because we had our book, the collection of articles that we had about Sainik School alumni reminiscing about their life on the Amaravian campus. It's called the Amaravian Stories. So that's what actually connected Rati and me together during this time. So I got the opportunity to meet her. Now, Vivek Vijayan. Vivek Vijayan, the celebrated writer from Kottakkal. He is already a well-known name in Kerala literary circles. He has been writing for quite some time. And now, in the past few years, he is making news. The two books that he has written and published, the first one, I Lie in Wait, a novel, mystery novel, and you also have his second book. The second book is called As Memory Unfolds. So that's the second book that he has authored, a fat book of 400 pages. And he has met with early success with these two books, and he has already been interviewed by other channels and all that. But this is an informal interview. I got an opportunity to meet him here, and that's how we are now talking to you. Now you may be wondering, I mentioned about Rati Warrior and then I cut the story and then I came to Vivek Vijayan. What's his connection? Simple. Vivek Vijayan is Rati Warrior's son, is her second son. The famous writer's son based in Kottakkal. Now, we'll start this, conversation. Vivek, you are now the center of the stage. I want to know, you have made success as a writer. It's a very, very nice position to be in. I would envy anybody in this position. Straight away with two books. And, they are quite considerable books. I was just looking at it, 200 pages, the first mystery novel, and around 400 pages of this memoirs. And both of them read so well. I have gone through the first one and just a little bit of the second one. Just tell me, how did you start as a writer? How did you get into this?
Okay. I started off like any other person would, the school writing competitions.
Yeah.
And after that, we were very new to this cable TV and stuff like that. So we, a bunch of friends who were also very enthusiastic about writing, we all wrote stories. We can agree now that we shamelessly plagiarized those American series or Hindi series that we were introduced to.
I think everybody begins like that.
Of course, yes, yeah. Every good crime begins with a steal. Yeah. So that's how it started off. And of course, the writing competitions, inter-school competitions and stuff like that. But I pursued writing as a career on a serious note after I read J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series.
Yeah. You mentioned this in your last video also.
Yes, that's true. I make it a point that I mention it in all the interviews I do because it is her life more than her works that inspired me a lot.
Yeah.
So that's how I pursued writing as a career. I began with some short stories and a novella.
Okay.
But the novella was for my uncle, who is a famous director, Shaji and Karun. He's a national award-winning director. So I wrote a story about a boy who is blind, who becomes a chess champion. That was my first first tryst with literature, you can say. But unfortunately, the project didn't pan out because of the busy schedule that he was with. So it didn't pan out. But he was impressed with the storyline and the writing.
Yeah.
And like any other human being, I too was a bit depressed because the first project didn't flag off. So at that moment was I introduced to renowned filmmaker, director Jayaraj.
Okay.
So he was the one who told me that why don't you write a script for me?
Yeah.
He said like that. So I thought he was pulling my leg because he didn't have to do it because he was a well-renowned director himself. So I thought it was a joke. But after 2 days when he met me again, he said, "Have you started writing?" So only then did I dawn that he was very serious about all this stuff. So I started writing a crime novel that has been haunting me for a while. So I wrote it down, but for some corrections, he was very impressed with the first screenplay or first draft. So I went through the corrections that he suggested, and after that started the main thing of producer hunting.
Yeah.
But it was, I'm talking about the early 2012, 2013, at that time. So it was not a time ripe for the female-centric films because
you're too ahead of your time.
Of course, in a way. And nowadays, whenever I see some web series or movies, it also resembles the plot that I wrote in the novel. So at that time, no producer was willing to bet on a female-centric story.
Yeah.
So it was then that Jayaraj uncle suggested that why don't you publish it as a novel? So I thought he's joking again because to an amateur writer so I thought he was joking again.
Yes.
An amateur writer like me doesn't get a platform to publish a book.
Yeah.
So, but he was serious again. So he encouraged me, and I started off. And when I finished the whole writing process, the words fell short because for a novel to be published, it has to have 50,000 words.
Okay.
Mine only had 22,000 something. So it was another dilemma as to what I should do. So I brainstormed a little and came up with an idea that I can give some backstories to the main characters.
Yeah.
Because since it's a crime novel, prior to the crime, the people might be having other cases to pursue.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to go into that.
Yeah.
So then I wrote the backstories of all the main characters.
Yeah.
And now it was close to 65,000. And I again asked my cousin, who's my lucky mascot, so to go through the edits. And of course, she liked it a bit, but trimmed a little because she thought some portions were too technical and people would find it mundane.
Yeah.
So she trimmed it off, and there was a healthy argument, which more she won and I lost a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's always a good idea to let others win.
Yeah, that's true. So ultimately, the ultimate result was good. So I have no qualms. That is one thing, and I asked my other friend, Dr. Rashmi, who is also a physician in AgaraMudhala.
Okay.
She went through the medical parts of it. I forgot to mention my cousin's name. Her name is Kalyani.
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah. So both of them made it what it is now.
Okay.
After that, the same hunt for the first hunt was for a producer. This time it was a publishing house. I asked my friends around and in the literary circle.
Yeah.
But nobody was all in the normal process. Nobody was trying to bet on me.
Yeah.
So I googled some of the publishing houses, and only then did Notion Press stumbled upon.
Yeah.
And they encouraged amateur writers. They are firm in
Yeah,
Chennai.
they do. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was very healthy, and I contacted them, and they were very welcoming, and they just made sure everything was went through like clockwork.
Yeah.
Because I contacted them in November, and by February my book was out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was that fast.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the feeling like when your book was published?
It was exhilarating. It was lifelong dream.
Yeah.
To have a book published under your
Yeah.
name.
For any author,
Yeah.
saying the first
Saying
book
the
is a
first
dream, and
Yeah.
against all odds you have worked and then come out with this, and it's
Yeah.
no easy book. I read through it. I mean, it's a lot of work. Where did you learn the craft of writing? How did you manage that?
The craft mostly other books, mostly reading other novels,
Okay.
and especially Frederick Fawcett and Lee Child. Those two are my all-time favorites in thrillers.
Yeah.
Especially Frederick Fawcett. I'm an ardent fan of this. So I mostly read through their books, and it was those books that I referenced for my craft. So as to how to go through the plot, or how to blossom it in an organic way. Not it should not feel mechanized.
Correct. Not forced.
Not forced.
Yeah.
So that's how I went. Mostly it's reading, and of course my grandfather is there now.
Yeah.
Or my KG warrior is there.
Yeah. Our KG warrior, not
Of
yours.
course, yeah, of course, yeah.
Our teacher in school.
Of course, yeah. I
Yeah.
did get a small share because he also has tutored me in English
Yeah.
for the school days.
Yeah.
So so that I have his blessings.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that can go wrong.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So that's how it started. But mostly, most of the readers, or most of those who are watching, I would urge all of them to read more.
Yeah.
Because only when through books can you improve your language, your
Absolutely.
skills.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that is not, there's no shortcut
Okay.
for crafting it.
Yeah.
Like one of my headmasters always used to say, a genius is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
You're a living example of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you really work hard. It's no easy feat for anybody, and you have really must have persevered to be able to achieve something like this. What has been the response to this book? I Lie in Wait.
Yeah, it has been mostly welcoming. Most of the readers, the reviews that I get from people whom I have never met, and now who have become more bosom friends of mine. All of them have encouraged me, and they are all very happy with how the plot develops, and the twist at the end, and everything. And everybody's happy. The one takeaway is that I got a message from US from an old gentleman who was so thrilled as to he wanted to get the links. I only shared the link in Facebook, but unfortunately he, like I said, he's too old, so he couldn't copy the link to send send them to his friends, not her. Yeah, his friends. So he was very very sweet of him to personally message me through Facebook and ask for the links in US. So I shared it with him. So that is one thing, that one sweet takeaway from all this, and the other came from my 70-year-old aunt.
Okay.
Who normally never reads fiction. If she does, she only reads Malayalam.
Okay.
But since it was my book, she started it. But unfortunately couldn't finish it because it was too, like you said, the characters are so many. She found it confusing. But instead she said that the new coinage would be unputdownable.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is. That is a characteristic that marks this book. I can definitely vouch for that.
Thank you. So that is one thing that a 70-year-old person said. So, I was, it was very...
Which is the part of this novel that you personally like the most? or something that's always stays with you? You might have written the whole book,
Of course, yes.
but is there any particular part or a particular scene that you stands
Actually,
out?
both the backstories of Siddharth and Kishore, the
Yeah.
characters, um, I enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
I should tell the truth. That I don't want to bring out any spoilers, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to. Indulge more into the plot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but if you put it in a nutshell, the part of Siddharth
Yeah.
and the part of Kishore. And
Okay.
like you said, the woman, the female character
Yeah.
that you mentioned, you enjoyed.
Yeah, right.
That is my favorite character in this novel as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when are we going to see this as a movie? On the big
Yes.
screen or the small screen? A web series?
Yeah.
Eye line weight on the screen?
Screen, yeah, the talks are on. If everything works out well, mostly next year,
Okay.
around this time.
Okay, great. We are looking forward to it. I'm sure all these people who are watching this will look forward to the movie also. Because they have to read the book and then they like Ponniyin Selvan, they'll
Yeah.
see what's it like on the screen, seeing it, as a movie or as a telefilm.
Yeah.
So, I do wish the best for you for that book.
Thank you.
Now let me just move on to this other book of yours,
Yes.
As Memory Unfolds. Okay.
Yes.
And this is a book about the life of Dr. P.K. Warrior, the one who headed your Kottakkal Arya Vaidyasala for a considerable period of time.
Yes.
So this is. Did you get the other book? I'm not very sure. So this is the I Lie in Wait, the first book we are talking about, and now the second book, As Memory Unfolds. Now just tell me, I am very impressed with just the size of the book itself. It's very difficult to write, such a book. It takes a lot of effort. I know what it is. I write short stories. I finish them 4 to 6 pages in no time. But this is a lot of work. How did you manage this? How did you begin on this project? Tell me in your own words the story behind this book.
Yeah. Okay. It all started around 2018
Yeah.
December.
Mm-hmm.
We went on a trip to Pondicherry
Okay.
for 10 days.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the day we left from here, my grandfather, Dr. Warrior, fell ill.
Okay.
So we were planning to come back, but he was very gracious to say that it's been a long time that I personally have spent on it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to come back.
Okay.
Everything is complete over here. So we continue with that trip. So we continued with that trip and came back, and when I went to see him, I asked, had a small wish that I need to write your biography
Yeah.
in my own words.
Yeah.
That is one thing. So I didn't want to bother him. So
Okay.
I had his Malayalam biography with
Okay.
me for
Okay.
all the references that I need.
Yeah.
But I wanted to catch certain points, so I had an informal chat like we are having now
Okay.
with him, and I started writing around January. January 3rd. That was in 2019.
Yeah.
I started with the first few chapters, and I went to him and I sent it to my aunt, but so she was the one who
Yeah.
came with that. Yeah. So I sent the first paragraph to him. I said, like, this is how it is going to begin.
Yeah.
And he was very impressed with the flow of the
Yeah.
plot. So after that, I went through 2 to 3 chapters and I hit a snag and I had certain doubts. And I went to him and clarified those points because there were some errors, factual errors
Mhm.
in his script. So I wanted to clarify that, whether it was so or not. So he was very welcoming and he clarified all the doubts. And after that, after 13, 14 chapters, I hit a snag again because of my ill health.
Yeah.
So I couldn't continue writing, and after that, the discussions with my cousins for the first book began to happen, and there is all kinds of stuff. So it was on a pause, or limbo, as
Yeah.
the new generation say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after once the first book was published and I gave it to him, so after that I went to him again and clarified certain other doubts after in the 15th or 16th chapter. His childhood days.
Yeah.
And those were the times I wanted to clarify certain points. After that, his first book was, or his Malayalam biography was more than enough to go through and
Yeah.
go through the writing process. So again, some ill health haunted me. So it again hit a snag. And our plan was, our initial plan was in 2021.
Yeah.
Sorry, 2022.
Yeah.
No, 2021 again. Yeah, last year, prior to his passing, he celebrated his 100th birthday. So I
Yeah.
wanted to gift him on the 100th birthday.
Yeah. That would have been very nice and very appropriate.
Yeah, so that was the plan. But the continuous ill health and was finding, I was finding it very difficult mentally and physically to
Yeah,
go through the process. But when January hit, it suddenly dawned that I only had some months
Yeah.
to complete the entire process.
Mm.
Because it should go to publishing around May
Mm.
to hit the deadline.
Yeah.
So I only had till April. So 4 months is all I had. So by God's grace, I don't know what it went through me. I went through the
You mentioned it. God's grace went for you.
of course, yeah, that's true. So I don't know. Yeah, it is the God's grace because I went through 2 parts
Yeah.
in 3 months, in 3.5 months, and by mid-April everything was set, and by end of April the edits was done. This time my mother too fixed in a few points, and by April everything was done, and including the Malayalam words, I incorporated Malayalam words, the proper phonetics, everything.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, what happened? The second wave of COVID hit. So all the publishing, the printing presses were all put on hold. So we couldn't go through it. But I was fortunate enough to gift him the manuscript, which he went through. The initial chapters, not in full, because it's not possible. Because towards the end, he was finding it very difficult to read as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I was fortunate enough to get him the second book. So that's how the process went. Yeah.
This book is, you went through the whole process. You seem to have braved all odds and, lots of, problems you have faced along the way and, completed this book. I just went through half the book. I am halfway through. I felt that this book should have been written even earlier.
Yes.
Such a history of, not only an individual, of the whole organization, Kottakkal Arya Vidyasala, and not just that, it's a history of Kottakkal itself. So, and so many personalities that are there in this, book. I mean, a novel is nothing compared to this, where you have thousands of people, who are coming there and with timelines marked when they came, what they did to transform this place from what it was, in early 1900s to what it is today. So it's a remarkable work that you have done, and I'm sure all Keralites, particularly those who are from Kerala, must read this book because this is very strongly connected to not only this organization but to Kerala's history. On every front, you have been involved, your family has been involved, and this organization has been involved. And I never knew any of this until I read this book. Even though I am not from Kerala, I'm sure people in Kerala also, most of them will be like this, except those who had a direct touch with this organization. So this is a major contribution you have made to Kerala's literature and to Indian literature, and I think it's a book which everyone must read. I would urge everybody, not only not only the normal readers. The normal reader is a different animal, but this one, I think, must reach all the corners, and I'm sure you are more likely to be known by this, book as memory unfolds first, and then you have to work hard to build your image as as a mystery novelist. The competition will be more between these two writers in you, the novelist in you and the biographer. That's going to be the tough competition, and you have set very high standards for yourself. And I do hope that you go from strength to strength and you scale higher peaks, and you really grow in fame, and and you deserve all this, every bit of it. And my best wishes to you, Vivek. And I'm really proud of you. And I am sure all those who are watching this video will be inspired by your presence and what you had to share. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.